another great day here on the aisle. And as you know, we always get such great people popping by, making our square peg world a better place to be. And today is no exception, because we've got a very special guest with us today. Her name is Katie Powner, and I'm going to have to ask her if I pronounce that correctly. I don't know, she's nodding. All right. She is a multi-award-winning author of a number of contemporary fiction novels. She's been writing for as long as she can remember. That's what her bio says. She's also a mom in all the ways to the third power, biological, adoptive, and fostering with her husband for the last 10 years. But most of all, she's just a small town girl living in Montana. I know we want to sing the song, right? Living in a lonely world. So she lives in Montana, where apparently the cows outnumber the people. And she's here with us today because she's got a gift for anyone who's got a mom in their lives, just in time for Mother's Day. It's a book she wrote. It's her latest release, in fact, called Birds on a Wire. And I can't wait to talk a little bit about it today. So welcome, Katie.
Thank you so much, Nancy. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here on your aisle.
Oh, like I said, I'm just thrilled to have you. We're thrilled to have you. Want to hear more. So tell us about the cows in Montana, first of all.
So it's true that the cows still outnumber people here. And it's hard to picture that, I know. But if you took a drive, which we recently did, we had to drive down to Salt Lake and back. If you took a drive like that, you would pass so many fields, because it's calving season. So you would pass so many fields that are just full of cows, and then right now with their babies. And when you do that, you realize, okay, I think it is true. I think it is true that there's more cows than people.
Have you ever tried to count them?
No.
Yes, more than stars in the sky. Yeah. So I'm in New York State, and believe it or not, I don't know if you've been, out here, but whenever people hear New York, they think New York City. Yes, we have this city, but most of New York is quite rural, and we have
a lot of cows too.
Yeah, probably not as many as you, and definitely not more than people. Probably, I'm thinking.
Yeah. Because I think there's probably more people in New York City than in the whole state of Montana.
I think so. Yeah, I think it's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot. So I'm in the quieter part of the city. I live in Buffalo, so it's technically a city, but it feels like small town city. Yeah.
We got about 2,500 people in the town where I live.
Oh boy! So you all know each other.
It's pretty small.
Right? Yeah. Where everybody is another song. Where everybody knows your name.
Yep, exactly.
Yep. That's great. So I'm sure that is probably the net effect is probably great. I'm sure. I don't know does it always feel great that everybody knows?
There's pros and cons. There's pros and cons for sure. Yeah.
Yes, it's like I'm not sure I want you to know everything about me, but yeah. But that's wonderful. And Montana, I hear, is just beautiful.
It is, and there's so much diversity partly because it's so huge. You have prairies, you have mountains, you have 2 national parks. So there's just so many different types of landscape, and you never have to end your awe because it's everywhere.
Yeah, that sounds good. I like that. You never have to end your awe. That should be like on the Chamber of Commerce.
Make a little sticker.
Yes, exactly. Well, I definitely want to visit there someday. But speaking of visiting, we're so glad to have you visit with us. And like I said, I'm excited about this book, and we're going to talk about the themes of the book because, like we said, you're a mom in at least 3 of the census that you can be a mom, right?
Yep.
So you've had them the old-fashioned biological way, via adoption, and via fostering. And that's kind of our spoiler alert. There's a big theme of that in this book that you wrote. So let's do that. But first, all of my misfits know what's coming, and I gave you a heads up. But first, we have an order of business to attend to, and that order. So the meeting will come to order now. All in favor, say aye. Well, I'm saying aye. So
aye.
You said aye. She said aye. So we got the stupid game to play. So here's today's stupid game, because Mother's Day is coming up. So, and this book is all about mothering and parenting and in all the ways. So we're going to play this or that Mother's Day edition.
Okay.
You're ready. Okay. So real easy. We had ChatGPT help us with this one because my creativity was, needing some help this morning. So I'm just going to feed you this or that, all related to Mother's Day. And you're just going to tell me which one resonates with you.
And pick
You
one.
can justify it if you
Okay.
like. You don't have to. This is your game. You play it your way. So it's kind of a lightning round. Okay. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. First one. Pajamas past noon or dressed up brunch?
Neither.
Neither. Okay, that's a valid option too. All right, so what would your choice be?
Just a regular. I don't like to dress up, so I like the brunch part, but I don't really want to dress up on Mother's Day.
All right, but getting dressed, so not in your pajamas.
Getting dressed, yeah, not my pajamas.
Going to brunch. Okay, all right, fair enough. Okay, how about flowers you can keep or chocolate you can eat?
Chocolate.
chocolate all the way. Do you have a favorite?
Dark. The darker, the better.
The darker, the better, and it's good for you. So good for you.
Right, exactly.
Okay. Spa day silence or karaoke dance party?
Oh my goodness. Well, I love karaoke, and we do have dance parties sometimes, so I'm gonna have to go with that one.
With that one, okay. What's your go-to karaoke song? We have to know now.
Strawberry wine.
Strawberry wine. All right. Okay. All right. I won't make you sing it, but now we're all wondering. If you want to include a clip, that's okay. Okay. Let me say. Oh, here's a good one. Handmade card or store-bought with perfect wording?
Oh, definitely handmade, of course.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
No doubt. Yeah.
You can't. Yeah. They're priceless, right?
Yeah.
Buy those, all the money in the world. Okay. Okay. Extra long phone call or surprise in-person visit. Now, all your children, I'm guessing, are young, so I don't know if they're visiting you yet, but I don't know.
Well, we have one is in college.
Okay.
But I think probably the phone call. I don't like surprises.
Oh, okay. You're not okay. That's fair. Yes, I have a daughter who doesn't like surprises either, and we do a lot of extra long phone calls. So that's good.
Yeah.
All right, one or two more. How about mom's classic recipe or trying a brand new dish?
Oh, like my mom's classic recipe?
Or subject to your interpretation. Yeah,
probably probably the classic recipe. I like tried and true.
Tried and true. That's exactly what I was thinking. Okay, but no surprises, right? So
yeah.
What could possibly go wrong? Okay. Okay, last one. This is a good one. Taking photos for memories or hiding the camera and living the moment?
That is a good one. I would say I don't actually take a lot of photos, but I would say still taking the photos because, you don't ever get that day back. So I do like to have at least, a family picture. Yeah.
Exactly. You've got to document the time, right? Yeah, I'm with you. I'm the official family photographer, and there's a balance there. So somewhere in between is like, okay, maybe one or two photos and then live all the rest of the moments.
Right. Yeah. So it's like a combination
of photos I would want to take. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, you did very well. You aced the stupid game.
I got 100%. I just want everyone to know.
All your answers were the right answers. Congratulations. Thanks for playing. So again, it's Mother's Day, pre-Mother's Day season. There's still time to get out there and do something for your mom because we all, we've all been touched by motherhood, right? Whether we're a mom ourselves, whether we're fortunate enough to have our moms living and the relationship is healthy, or just the opportunities for mothering that come into our lives, right? And obviously I'm talking to women, but we've all been touched by moms, even if you're a guy. So
right. Very good point.
Yeah. So I want to kind of kick off this conversation with, it's actually a quote from your bio. I'm just going to feed it to you, and then I want you to go from there. So this is what you said. You said, when I became a foster parent 10 years ago, it changed how I saw the world and how I thought about grace. So I figured you probably had some more to say about that.
I do have a lot to say about that. So when I first did the training to become a foster parent was actually way before that. We had thought we were ready to do that, and we were going to do the training and do the paperwork. And we were in our mid-20s at the time because we got married young. We'd had one son. And as soon as we finished the class, we found out we were pregnant with my second son. So we put aside that desire and ended up having it put aside for quite a long time, because then the Lord directed us toward adoption instead, and that took 4.5 years. And then my daughter, once she was here, it took time to get settled, and it wasn't until after that that we went back to the foster care. And that in itself was a huge gracious thing that the Lord did in our life, because he knew we were not ready at that time when we were young to be foster parents, because it requires a perspective we did not have at that time. That desire for reunification and for reconciliation, and for restoration of families, we didn't have that. We were just kind of focused on our own family at that time. And so God's grace allowed us to kind of get away with not getting into that before we were ready, and then coming back to it years later when our perspective had definitely changed. So then we went back to it, became, did it for real, did the training, did the paperwork, and still then discovered we had still a lot to learn about grace, even after all that time. Starting with the idea that we only have what we have, like the ability to offer a safe home for a temporary time. We only have that ability because of grace. We did not do anything to earn or deserve being born into a family that would teach us how to love each other, for example, or just basic life skills, for example. And a lot of these other bio parents, they were not born into families that gave them that. And it's only by God's grace that I have that. It's not because I'm better than them. It's just because of God's grace. And I had to learn that really quickly when we started fostering, that, wow, that could be me on the other side. This could be flipped around. If it weren't for God's grace, I could be on the other side of this.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you remember, without TMI, because this is deeply personal, but were there any milestone moments or just, watershed moments that kind of really drove that home?
Yes, actually, I would say COVID, when COVID happened, right? That was a real struggle for everyone, obviously. And in the foster care world, what happened was visitation was affected. So kids, right. Every week they're supposed to go have these visits with their parents, right? And we had a little boy at the time, and he would go see his parents twice a week. Well, I had never met them, because you go to kind of a third party location, you drop him off, and then the neutral party takes him to the parents. Right. So they're kind of the go-between, right? So I had never met them. Well, here comes COVID, here comes lockdown. All of a sudden, the visit house is closed. No one can be in public anymore.
Oh, wow.
And so, but these visits need to happen, right? So the only way to really do it is on Zoom. So they asked, can you do a Zoom visit with these parents? Well, sure, I'll do that. I don't want to keep him from them. Well, that was the first time that I saw these people face to face. All of a sudden, here they are on my screen.
Now they have faces. Yep.
Now they have faces. Now I'm talking with them. And the boy we had was very young, so he was not talking yet. So I'm doing the talking kind of for him. So we're all kind of together, kind of trying to have this visit, which is awkward on a Zoom, obviously, but we tried. And that was a really big moment for me, to look at their faces and think, these are just people. These are just people just like me. And like I said before, that could be me on the other side of this. And so kind of coming face to face with them in that way really changed my perspective.
Yeah, I would imagine. So yeah, definitely a stretch out of your comfort zone, probably for them as well.
Yes.
Yeah. And in those, like you said, these are just people. I'm just a person. They're just people. We're all just doing the best we can in so many ways.
Right.
In fact, there's a theme that I've been picking up. I'm about 12 chapters in now, and I'm hooked. I'll probably finish it this weekend. Because the story is compelling to me for a number of reasons. But one of the themes that's already sticking out to me is just show up, right? Just showing up.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that was something, that was conscious and intentional as you're writing this book, like as you're writing this story, or if it just kind of, that's the theme. So I'm interested to hear that.
Yeah, I'm glad that you pointed that out because it's a huge deal in foster care, because you wouldn't believe how many times I hear people say, oh, I've always thought about doing that, or I've always wanted to do that, but they have never taken any steps towards doing it. And so it is important to me, and I hope then came out in the book intentionally, that idea of just, you have to be willing to take a step forward towards this, you know.
Right.
You can talk about it all you want, that you care about these kids, you know,
Yeah.
oh, these poor kids, or, oh, I want to help. And, oh, I just, you know, you can talk about it all you want. Well, that's the kid's still out there needing help. You haven't done anything to help them until you take a step forward towards them. And that's what then Laura does in the book. She takes a step forward to try to do something. And she doesn't do it perfectly. And it's a lot harder than she expected. And some people maybe would even say, maybe she shouldn't have done it at that time in her life. But at least she took that step.
Yep. She took
tried.
that step. Right. Because, you know, you referenced before with your own story, there's a preparation period, and you were grateful that you had that preparation period, right?
Yes.
But the seed had already been planted. So even that preparation period is showing up. It's like, okay, I'm going to take a step and get prepared. And then the timing is up to God, right?
Right. Yes.
Yeah. So in her story, in Laura's story, one of the two central characters in this book, you know, her life isn't perfect, right? She's got stuff going on. She's got other kids, and they've got stuff, and she's got her church with well-meaning people, and they've got stuff, and her best friend's got stuff going. And so nobody's life is perfect.
Yes.
Right? And sometimes we think, well, I got to wait for things to really line up. It's like, okay,
wait
let
till
me
I'm
know
ready.
when that day comes, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You're never going to be ready. It's never going to be the perfect time. It's never going to be convenient.
Yeah.
And it never is. Like, if you look at the Bible, and when the Lord would call people for different things, you know, it was never at the time that they would say, this is the opportune moment for the Lord to come to me and give me a calling.
Yeah.
You just don't ever see that happen.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a saying I've heard in church for many years. I bet you've heard this one too, that God doesn't call the equipped, but he equips the called. Right?
Yes. Right.
And, you know, sometimes he does call the equipped, but the point is, it's like, if he's called you to do it, he's going to give you what you need.
Yes. And I also like to say, God can't steer a parked car.
Yeah. Good one.
So you need to start somewhere, and then he can guide you in whatever direction you need to go. But if you're refusing to move, if you're stuck in a parking spot, then you're stuck there. He can't turn you any direction because you're not going anywhere.
Right. Yeah, I think I've heard the term. My husband's an engineer. Paralysis analysis, right?
Okay,
Or analysis paralysis, right?
Yes.
Because you want to get it right, you know. You know, measure twice, cut once. All these pithy sayings, right? So we don't want to go out haphazard. We want to be wise and be prepared and all of that. But there comes a point where you're like, okay, you know what? I've done what I can do, and now it's time for God to fill in that gap.
Right. And you can allow him to close the door if maybe you aren't at the right time, you know, or aren't on the right path, and he will. He's faithful.
Yeah.
He'll honor that. He'll be like, not exactly. He can close that door and guide you somewhere else.
Right.
You know, and that's okay.
And and the point is he's steering. But, you know, all of this just sounds like, so, I mean, specifically we're talking about fostering, which has its own dynamics, but all of this really sounds like parenthood, right?
Yes.
It's like, who's ever ready to be a parent? Who's, you know, you read the books, you watch the videos, you know, you listen to the podcasts, and then, now I have a child. Now it's for real, right?
Yep.
And you learn as you go.
Yes.
Grace, right? It begins and it ends with grace, as you said. Right? We only have what we have because of grace.
Right.
Yeah. And then there were 3 R words that you used that I would love you to unpack those a little bit, because this is specific to foster care, but I think it's really important, and I think it's transcendent, right? So that reunification, that reconciliation, and that restoration, tell us a little more about that, specific to fostering.
Right. Well, in foster care, the goal is reunification, that the child who is in my care will be reunified with their parents. And I added those other words in the CPS system, and with the state, you really only hear the reunification part. I add those other words because in my mind, without reconciliation and restoration, that reunification can't, or maybe shouldn't happen,
Exactly.
or is going to fail. Right.
Yeah. It kind of reunification presupposes those two things. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And so a lot of people don't realize, that that's the goal of foster care, because a lot of people have these misconceptions that, like if I have a new baby in my home, all of a sudden they kind of assume, oh, are you gonna adopt him? It's like, no, that's not how this works. That's not the plan at all. The plan is, I'm just saving. I'm like a place saver in a way, a placeholder. Or like in the book, that birds on a wire picture is a temporary safe place to land until the bird's ready to fly back off. That's all. That's what I am, and that's my job. That's my role.
A temporary safe place to land. And that, with that, I mean, that's a very noble goal, all right? To provide that safe place so that you can reunify, so that child and mother, that family can be reunited. That's a beautiful goal. And at the same time, there is an issue that I know many foster parents have dealt with, and it's dealt with in this book. It's like, okay, but what if I get attached? What's going to happen? Right? How do I deal with that? And the central character deals with that too. So there was let me see if I can find this quote. There was a conversation that she had with her father.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to read this one line if I can. Yeah, she said about this baby, no, he doesn't belong to me, but you know what I mean. And he says, yeah, I think so. I think you mean you don't want to love Providence, which is the baby, the way you love your other kids, because you'll have to give him up at some point. And I thought that was so poignant. And it goes on from there. And I don't want to spoiler alert your whole book because, like I said, I'm only several chapters in. But I would love to hear your thoughts on that because you've been through this too.
Right. And that is something, the reason that that's in the book is because that's something I had to go through myself with that first placement, which was a baby. I had to, and this happened in the late night, dark hours, as I would be up with him a lot because he had a lot of struggle, so I'd be up with him a lot. And it was in those times that I had to wrestle with this with the Lord. Like, I don't want to give my heart to this child, basically. And I had to cry out to the Lord, like, I don't want to do that because I knew it was going to be very painful. And I could feel myself holding back from him. I could feel kind of, it's like the kind of a wall I kind of put up a little bit of a wall between us. I mean, I was caring for him, doing everything that he needed, but I wasn't giving him my heart. And that was out of fear. And the Lord had to teach me that my own kids could also be taken from me at any time. They could be gone tomorrow just as easily as this baby could be gone tomorrow. I have no control over that. None of these kids are mine to hold on to. They are the Lord's. Yeah. And so when I could finally accept that, then I was able to give this baby all of my heart, all of my love, just unreservedly, even knowing that, it was going to break because I realized he needed it. It was that would make it better for him. Harder for me, sure, but better for him. And that was all that mattered.
Yeah. So, that holding back, but, out of self-protection, there was another element. And again, I almost hate to give it away, but I was starting, to tell you a little bit about this before we started to hit record. So in my own story, I have not fostering so much, but I have some similarities, and I'll flesh it all out one day. But just to say, there was something that Laura said that she was afraid that if she loved this child, that not just for her sake, but she was concerned for his sake, because one day she'd have to say goodbye to him. And what would he grow up thinking, that you didn't love me? And there's a situation in my life where I've had to, it just reframed my thinking about someone else having to say goodbye, right? And
Right.
yeah, and how that impacted someone that I love very much. And that was, I just have to thank you for that perspective, because it really helped me in my I know I'm speaking generically here, but
Yeah.
know about it. But yeah, I think that's such a helpful perspective.
But I'm really glad to hear that. And I think that was one of my goals with this story, was to offer this other perspective that I think a lot of people just don't understand, especially when you see it from the outside. You think you know what it's like. Maybe, you have assumptions about it.
Right.
But that's really not reality.
Right. Because love doesn't hold back. Right.
Right.
As you said. And those of us that have been blessed with children, whether biologically or adoption, I think foster parents know something better in many cases than other parents. They have that clear sense, this child does not belong to me, right?
Right.
And it's true for all of our children, as you said,
Right.
they belong to God. We get to take care of them, we get to nurture them, we get to love on them. And of course, their greatest need is to be loved.
Yeah.
Right. So why would we hold back on someone just because we don't know the future?
Yeah. Right. And we would do it to protect ourselves, like you said, but it doesn't help them. So
right. Yeah. Yeah. And it's not really protecting them, because even if the future does change, they need that love now, right?
Yeah.
They need that love.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of times we've had people ask, especially after we've had maybe a long placement, and then they'll leave, and then they'll kind of say, are you done? Like, are you done? Is that it? Are you done now? Because, because that was really hard and everything. Yeah. Are you going to you wouldn't do that. You're not going to do that again, are you?
Right.
And we always say, well, the children are going to still be going through this with or without us.
Right. Yep.
So yes, we're doing it again.
Right. Yeah. Because love is risky, right? And think about the way God loves us, right?
Right.
It's risky because we may love him back, we may not love him back, and yet he didn't hold back for us.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he knew what was best for us and what we needed.
Yeah. Yep. And there's so that just showing up and that not holding back, those are already two huge themes as I'm reading through this, and I'm just loving it, and I can't wait to read more. And I know we're coming in for landing, but I am curious. So you've been doing this for 10 years with the fostering. I'm sure you've probably kept count. Like, how many children have you been able to foster?
About a dozen.
Okay.
And the reason that is not a bigger number is because most of our placements have been long-term. We've had a lot, just because we typically take babies, and because babies tend to be longer term, we've had then longer stretches, of one child for maybe sometimes like 2 years at a time. Rather than lots of placements that are short, which it can be the case sometimes too. Right. So for us, it's been more of the longer term placements.
And so you've had that time to invest. I mean, you're investing no matter what, short placement
right.
or long.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So the other question I have, I think some people have this question, you've alluded to it. So the goal is reunification. The goal is not adoption, but sometimes it does turn into an adoption situation. Yeah. And I'm just curious, did that happen for you?
It does happen sometimes. Yeah. Probably not as often as people think. But there have been some opportunities where we could have, in particular, like there was 2 little brothers that we had who they asked us if we were, willing, and the out-of-state family who was willing to also adopt them also asked us if we were willing. Because they, we had them for so long, and they didn't want to come in and take the boys to a strange place, to strange people that they didn't know. And we had to really wrestle with that, because here we had been raising them. We were what they knew. They didn't know this aunt and uncle, right? So we had to wrestle with that. And I think we were willing, but we had to think about what's best for them, like in 5 years, 10 years down the road.
Right. Yep.
How could we say to them, well, yes, you did have family who wanted you, who would have adopted you, but we decided to take that from you and keep you with us. You know, we didn't feel like we had a right to do that. And so the aunt and uncle ended up adopting them.
Yeah. And that's discernment, right? That's seeking God for discernment. That question, well, what's best, right?
Yeah.
Because again, every parent, we're not in this for what's in this for me, right? Because children, as much as we love them, children aren't the ones feeding us. We're the ones pouring out to them.
Yeah.
And that's by design, right? So the question always is, what is best for this child?
Yeah.
And, and any birth mom who has placed her child into the arms of another family, she's wrestling with that same thing.
Right. Exactly.
It's what is best. And so God bless you and your family for just investing and pouring out and always holding their best interests at heart. I mean, as someone who knows just a very little bit about this world, I'm so grateful to you.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's tell people how they can get a hold of this book. Like I said, Mother's Day is coming. It's a great read for anybody, but this is a great time of year if you're thinking in terms of what can I do for someone who's impacted me in a mothering way.
Right. It's a great mother's book for sure.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And so it's called Birds on a Wire, and it comes out April 21st, and it'll be available everywhere, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Christian Book, Baker Book, all those places. Yep.
Excellent. And you have a website. So tell us about your website. That's where I found out that you're just a small town girl.
Yeah. So katiepowner.com is my website, which has information about all my books, not just this one. And it also has all my links to social media and stuff, because I love to meet people there as well.
All right. Well, I'm gonna start. I'm gonna look you up on Instagram. So I'll be one of your followers.
Awesome.
I would love to have you back when you write your next book and just find out what's going on. Ask you more about your awards. I know you're a Christy Award winner. We didn't even really get into that today, but it's been such a joy having you, Katie.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here.
Oh, you're very welcome, and God bless, and happy Mother's Day to you.
And you.
Thank you. All right. God bless. Hey, thanks for listening and hanging out with us, Misfits. It's always more fun when it's more than one. And if you like what you heard, please feel free to share away, and you can even follow us wherever you're listening, whether it's Spotify or Apple, wherever you're listening, and maybe even give us some love with the rating stars, because that really helps us get on the map. Oh, and speaking of fun, there's more Misfit fun for everyone at isleofmisfits.com. That's ISLE of misfits.com. Blogs, more great podcasts like these. You can even reach out to me if you got a great idea for a podcast, or you just want to say, hey, love to hear from you. Most of all, it's a place where you can come and be a part of the movement to own your awkward, love your fellow misfit, and seek beauty and truth everywhere.